Hello everyone, and welcome to The Mental Scientist. In this video, we're going to explore a topic that affects more people than we often realize: how childhood trauma continues to impact us even as adults. You might be surprised at just how deeply our early experiences shape who we become, how we think, feel, relate to others, and even how we treat ourselves. Even if those memories seem far away or faded, they can leave marks that continue to influence us in powerful ways. Childhood is a time when the brain and emotional system are developing. During those early years, we learn whether the world is safe, whether people can be trusted, and whether we are worthy of love. Trauma in those years doesn't just leave emotional wounds. It literally shapes the architecture of the brain, the way neurons connect, the way stress is processed, and how we react to the world around us. So what exactly is childhood trauma? It doesn't have to be something extreme like physical abuse or neglect, although those are certainly traumatic. Trauma can also come from emotional abuse, witnessing violence, growing up with parents who struggle with addiction or mental illness, or even just consistently feeling unloved or unsafe. One of the biggest effects of childhood trauma is that it changes how a person views themselves. Many adults who experience trauma when they were young struggle with low self-esteem. They might constantly feel like they're not good enough or that they have to prove their worth to others. These beliefs are not based on reality, but on the emotional injuries from their past. Adults with childhood trauma often develop what psychologists call core negative beliefs. These are deep, often unconscious ideas like, I am unlovable, I am broken, or I don't deserve to be happy. These beliefs can quietly shape how a person behaves in relationships, at work, or even the way they treat their own body and health. Let's talk about relationships. People who've experienced early trauma often have difficulty forming secure and healthy attachments. As children, if they didn't have reliable caregivers, if love felt inconsistent or unsafe, they may carry those patterns into adulthood. They might become overly clingy, constantly afraid of being abandoned. Or, on the opposite side, they might become avoidant, keeping people at a distance, never fully trusting anyone. It's not uncommon for these adults to repeatedly end up in toxic or abusive relationships without fully understanding why. That's because part of them is still replaying the original trauma, trying to resolve something that was never healed. It's like an emotional loop they can't escape from unless they become aware of it. The nervous system also remembers trauma. Many adults who suffered in childhood live in a near constant state of hypervigilance. Their bodies are always ready for danger, even when there is none. This leads to chronic stress, anxiety, panic attacks, or even physical symptoms like headaches, stomach issues, and muscle tension. Over time, this constant stress response can wear down the body and mind. It's linked to higher rates of heart disease, autoimmune disorders, digestive problems, and mental health conditions like depression and PTSD. Another common sign of unresolved childhood trauma is emotional numbness. Instead of feeling too much, some people end up feeling almost nothing. They shut down emotionally as a survival tactic. This can make life feel flat or disconnected, like they're just going through the motions. Relationships become difficult. Joy feels distant. Even accomplishments might not bring satisfaction. Some people try to cope with their pain through self-destructive behaviors. They might turn to substance use, overeating, overspending, or other addictions. These habits may offer short-term relief, but they often worsen the long-term emotional pain. It becomes a cycle that's hard to break without understanding the root cause. Trauma also affects how a person handles emotions. If you were punished, ignored, or mocked for expressing your feelings as a child, you may have learned to suppress them altogether. As an adult, you might find it incredibly hard to identify or communicate your emotions, or you may feel overwhelmed by even small emotional situations. Many trauma survivors are perfectionists. They try to control everything around them because, as children, they felt out of control. Perfectionism becomes a shield. If everything is perfect, maybe they'll feel safe. But this mindset can be exhausting and damaging. It never truly leads to peace, only to burnout and disappointment. Some people become people pleasers. They They learn early on that their needs don't matter, so they focus entirely on making others happy. They say yes when they want to say no. They avoid conflict at all costs. They may have trouble setting boundaries, and even feel guilty when they try. The workplace is another area where childhood trauma can show up. Adults may struggle with authority figures, fear criticism, or experience imposter syndrome, the feeling that they don't deserve their success and are about to be found out. Others may be driven to overwork, tying their value to productivity instead of who they are. Sleep can also be affected. The stress carried from childhood can lead to insomnia, nightmares, or restless sleep patterns. Even the body's ability to fully relax can be compromised, making restful sleep a challenge. One of the most painful effects is the difficulty in parenting. Adults with childhood trauma may feel triggered by their own children. They might overcompensate or unknowingly repeat harmful patterns. This isn't because they're bad parents. It's because they were never given the tools or safety themselves. But here's the important part. Trauma is not destiny. Just because you were hurt doesn't mean you're broken forever. The brain is capable of healing. The nervous system can be re-regulated. Emotions can be relearned. Relationships can become safe again. Healing starts with awareness. Recognizing that what you're experiencing may not just be who you are, but rather a response to what happened to you. That's the first step. Therapy can be incredibly helpful, especially trauma-informed therapy like EMDR or somatic experiencing. Self-compassion is crucial. Many trauma survivors carry shame. They blame themselves for what happened or for how they now behave. But the truth is, your reactions made sense at the time. They were ways your mind and body tried to protect you. Mindfulness, journaling, and grounding techniques can help you reconnect with the present moment. They help shift the nervous system from survival mode into a more balanced, peaceful state. It's also important to surround yourself with safe, supportive people. People who listen, who don't judge, and who allow you to be your full self. Healing happens in connection. The same way trauma often starts in relationships, it can also be healed through relationships. You might grieve the childhood you never had. That's part of healing too. Grieving doesn't mean giving up. It means honoring what you went through and allowing yourself to move forward. If you're watching this and you resonate with anything here, know that you're not alone. Millions of people are walking around with invisible wounds. But wounds can heal. And the fact that you're here, watching this, seeking understanding, that already shows strength. It may take time. It may not be easy, but healing is possible. You can learn to feel safe again. You can learn to trust yourself. And you can create a life that isn't just about survival, but about growth, connection, and real joy. Thank you for watching. If this video helped you, please consider sharing it with someone else who might need it. And as always, stay curious, stay compassionate, and keep exploring the mind. This is the Mental Scientist. Until next time.